Hello everyone, we're back for another deadline stream. Thank you for joining me and good to see so many people in here already. Been a hot minute, about 11 days since the last deadline stream. We got a small red arrow in game week 20, which wasn't ideal, but a lot to digest in the last 10 or 11 days. A lot coming out about chip strategy, which we'll discuss. Also, the double game week in game week 24 for Liverpool and Everton, which is massive. Of course, I still have my own triple captain, so it's going to be interesting to discuss when we're going to play that. And also, I'm going to do a live team selection this stream, just because I don't do a team selection video anymore. So it'd be nice to run through my own team to give you some of my thoughts with some of my own players. And good to see somebody so early in chat. We got the Super Onion, Refacul, my channel member. We got Danny B, Mohammed, Joven. I'll get to your questions in just a second, lads. I just kind of wanted to take a second, say hello, and appreciate everyone that has joined us for another stream. Who's your captain, Shy? Again, the armband is currently on Cole Palmer, but we'll discuss that in the team selection. Okay, let me just quickly tweet that we're live. I have it ready. And then we will get straight into the team selection. So like I said, not ideal. Another red arrow last game week in game week 20. We are currently 327k in the world, which is not great for a content creator especially, but I'm not too worried. Again, I still have all my chips in my pocket, and I'm quite happy with my team this week. So let's start with our goalkeeper. We'll start with Rhea. Before I do that, actually, let me quickly fix the timer before people get annoyed by that. 93 minutes until the deadline. Okay, sweet. So one goal, we've got Rhea. We'll take Rhea and Gabriel as a bunch. Going into this fixture with Tottenham at home, I would say as a Spurs fan, absolutely dreading it. I can't imagine we get a result out of this game, especially when you consider maybe the team Spurs are going to line up. Looks like Ben Davies is back into the Spurs side. And I think I did see Christian Romero in the gym for Spurs, but again, I can't imagine he'll be anywhere near the pitch. But other than that, the same sort of lineup that we've seen in previous weeks for Tottenham, and it's very, very poor. And coming to the Emirates, I mean, it's not ideal. By the way, did anyone see the Sol Campbell video? It was quite funny, and you know, the absolute hatred for that man. We won't get into that. But yeah, going into this fixture with Gabriel and Rhea, I mean, I can't say I'm too excited. And I've got Solanke also on the bench. If I were to say how this game will go, I would still say Spurs have a good chance of scoring. I don't think we'll roll over for Arsenal. It's always usually a tight game. And underneath these circumstances where we have so many injuries, I mean, I can't really tell you how it's going to go except pray. But yeah, not ideal having double Arsenal. I'd be more than happy having one. I think going forward, like especially if we look at some of the fixtures, I think we'll want Arsenal going forward. Of course, they still are the best defence in the league. Sure, they haven't been picking up some of the best performances in recent weeks, but they're still clocking some decent numbers. So more than happy to own the Arsenal guys. Next, I suppose we'll move on to Trent Alexander-Arnold. And he's one that a lot of maybe the space has been talking about recently. I think rightly so. If you're asking me, I stand fairly firmly on he's easily first choice in that right back spot for Liverpool. I don't know why I would think otherwise unless we see suddenly Bradley start. I know he did play, or he did get benched against that fixture against Spurs, but I mean, I can't see him getting benched for if any games going towards the end of the season unless there's a lot of congestion. And he is just coming back from injury. So if we take a look at his minutes, I mean, for a player that's just come back from injury, it's exactly what you want. And sure, he did get the odd benching in a domestic game, but that doesn't bother me at all. So I think this first game is really, really good for Trent. I think another goal midweek in the cup. He looks absolutely amazing. He's getting back up to top speed. So definitely really happy to own Trent. Again, maybe the 7.2 price is starting to be justified. He has some really good fixtures coming up though. And of course, with the double game week coming up for Liverpool in game week 24 now with Bournemouth and Everton away, I think a lot of people are a bit skeptical about this double. Sure, I would have much preferred the double in 25 with Wolves at home, but we take what we can get. I'm more than happy to be able to throw the armband on Salah for a double game week. Like I said, I still have my triple captain, and we'll get onto the midfield in just a second. But that double game week for Liverpool, it's going to be really hard to pick out 2 players or 3 players for the double game week. Crazy yap session, go on. But like, I can't imagine many people are going to get more than 150 minutes in the double that are not Trent and Alisson, Van Dijk and Salah. So more than happy with Trent. Daniel Munoz, of course, with Leicester away, which is an ideal fixture. He's clocking some really good numbers in recent weeks. Definitely delighted to hold on to him, and I don't know how we've not got a big return yet, but I do think it's going to come. Really nice fixtures coming up. A sea of green. Crystal Palace also looking a bit better with Eze in the team. Not too much to say about Munoz. I think he comes in at a really good price of 4.7. So no complaints there. He hasn't done it in recent weeks, but I think this Leicester away fixture is really nice for him. So we'll get on to the meat of the team. Let me answer some questions real quick. Captain Haaland as a differential. You know what? I think if I had Haaland at this point, I would just hold on to him. And I do think I'd be throwing on the armband onto him when I could. I think it's a decent fixture for City this week, of course. But yeah, if you have Haaland, it probably means you don't have Palmer and Salah, which we're going to get onto now. Let's just start with Salah and Palmer. For me, I think the armband is going to go on Palmer. I prefer the home fixture, Bournemouth at home, than I do the away at Forest, who I think have been very good. Again, a lot of people will point towards the fact that Salah keeps doing it away and he's picking up all these holes. And again, I have no argument to go against Salah, really. It's just a home fixture for Chelsea, who have been a small bit underwhelming, but I do think I just fancy Chelsea with this home fixture with Bournemouth. I don't know what it is. And yeah, this ridiculous run for Salah. I mean, I can't say it's going to end at some point, but surely to God it has to. He can't keep up this form, surely. And again, watching Liverpool, it's interesting. I don't think Salah is still playing at his best, even though he's doing these phenomenal numbers. Which scares me, because if he does start to pick up and be more clinical like we know he can, like, he's missing loads of chances. So I actually think he's underperformed in some of these weeks, even though he is just that good where he needs one chance to tuck him away. So for me, the armband is going on Cole Palmer. I don't think I'll be changing my mind. It's just a home fixture. That's what it comes down to for me, and I'm more than happy to roll the dice again. I went for the captaincy on Palmer against Ipswich away, and I got stung by it. And of course, I went for the one that was in between Fulham and Palace. Of course, 10-pointer and a 10-pointer, but I think I'm happy to go with a differential this week in Palmer. And I feel like a lot of people will be also feeling the same thing, that they can go against Salah this week. Next, we'll move on to Anthony Gordon, who has been probably my best transfer this season. I brought him in fairly early. I think it was against Leicester, and ever since he's been returning. So I'm absolutely delighted with Gordon. I think a lot of people will be bringing him in this week if you don't already have him. Of course, a few scares with Alexander Isak potentially being injured. If you're wondering what I think about that, I think there is a chance that he doesn't play. I think with Eddie Howe, you never know what you're going to get. He'd just be saying anything. So I would be very unsure how to feel about owning Isak. If I had him, I'd definitely hold on to him. It wouldn't be worth for me to get rid of him. Again, I don't have him. But also, you know, if you have him, you just play him. You just don't bring him in if you don't have him, like myself. And I'm happy I haven't broke my team to bring him in. Obviously, if I had brought him in, he's been hauling in the last few weeks, but the decision was for me to hedge my bets with Gordon when a lot of people didn't own him, and hope that he can keep up in some sort of way with Isak. And in fairness, I think I've kind of got away with it. So unless Isak plays again and absolutely smashes in another bracer hat-trick, I think I'm more than happy to ride it out for a small bit more without Isak and continue with Gordon. Next, we'll move on to Arabeshi Eze and Rodgers. So Eze is one I brought in last week. Again, more than happy to hold on to him. I believe he got an assist last game week. By the way, apologies for not answering too many questions. I'll get back to all of them as soon as the team selection part is over. But an assist versus Chelsea away, some decent numbers, 0.55 XGI against a tough team, to be honest. And this Leicester fixture is definitely a really nice one for Eze. Especially, like I said, with Crystal Palace looking much better. And I do feel like there is some pen share for Eze. Mateta usually comes off early as well. So let's see how the minutes for Eze rolls out. I think if he continues to get some really good minutes, a lot of people will be looking towards him with the really good fixtures for Palace. Let's move on to Rodgers. Of course, he was suspended last week. It's been so long. Let me just double check that. Yeah, suspended last game week with the really good Leicester fixture. And of course, since we last spoke, David Moyes has taken charge of Everton, which is mad to think again. But yeah, really nice fixture for Villa. And I do think Villa can definitely up a bit. I think Villa have been very poor in recent weeks. But I think with Watkins back fully fit and Rodgers back in the team, I think Villa could do quite well in this Everton fixture versus David Moyes' team. So more than happy to start Rodgers over Solanke, who is currently on the bench. And while we speak about that, let's move on to Dominic Solanke, who is on the bench for us. I think Solanke, let's be real, in general has been an amazing signing for Spurs. I've been very, very impressed from a fan's point of view. Sure, he hasn't done it on a FPL level, but I do think he's picking up some really, really good positions on the pitch. I think it's actually his teammates who have quite let him down. I think the service from maybe Werner, Son, Brennan Johnson has been very, very underwhelming, and it's leaving Solanke do a lot of work where you'd much prefer see him in the box, in areas in the 6-yard box and getting good service. Again, we did see what we can get with good service, and that was a cross from Pedro Porro onto Solanke's head, which is a really, really nice finish. So I think Solanke is definitely a hold for me. Let's be real, Arsenal is not ideal this game week, but he goes into Everton away, Leicester at home, Brentford away, and even United at home and Ipswich away. So there are 4 or 5 really, really nice fixtures which I'd love to hold on to Solanke for. So let's move on to João Pedro, a one that we are all quite skeptical on. I think if you do own him, you do play him unless you know something I don't. I'll be honest, I don't really like what Hurtzler said. It didn't fill me with much confidence. And there is a slight part of me that looks at Dominic Solanke with Arsenal away, guaranteed 90 minutes, that potentially play him over João Pedro, who, look, let's be real, if he's injured, he's not going to play, but you never know. And I do think there's a chance Solanke does score against Arsenal. Spurs, look, they're still a decent attacking side, I would say, even with the broken lineup. But I think some of the players that are in the positions, even though they come with less quality, it leaves Ange play a system and mould it to the way he likes. I know it sounds quite weird where we're struggling with Ben Davies and Archie Gray and Radar Dragushin, but he gets to experiment with the likes of Spence, Sarr in midfield, Bergville, and even the front 3 or 4 with Kulusevski, Son, of course, Werner, who's picked up a hamstring injury, of course, Solanke and Brennan Johnson. So it's going to be really interesting to see what team he lines up against Arsenal. Of course, Lucas Bergville playing very, very well for Tottenham. Let's move on to Ollie Watkins. I brought him in 2 game weeks ago and he's been fairly poor. Or not 2 game weeks ago. Brought him in for the Leicester home game, and of course picked up some decent numbers but didn't return. And again, this week he plays against Everton. I'm still more than happy to own him. I brought him in for a reason. Looks like he's potentially on penalties. I don't know what the story is with Tielemans, but again, looks a very good own in my opinion, and hopefully John Duran doesn't take any, if many, minutes off him. So there's the team selection. Let's just take a quick minute before I get into your questions, and again, I apologize for not answering questions like I usually do, but I would say I'm happy with my team, how it is. Who are the players that I missed that can hurt my rank this week? Of course, those that are Captain Mohamed Salah, who will be the majority. I would say he'll easily be 180% EO this game week. And Alexander Isak, if he does play. But other than that, I don't see too many holes in my team. A few people have Mateta. I've got Watkins, of course, instead. A few people have Chris Wood, but he plays against Liverpool at home. So overall, I think the team is good. Again, 327k in the world, plenty of time. Again, I know I say it every single week, but with the triple captain in the back pocket. And let me quickly bring up FPL team and we'll discuss my chip strategy with the information that we do have. So, like you know, the game week 24 is a double game week. If we look at the FDR for FPL team. And I think 99% chance to be playing my triple captain on Mohamed Salah for Liverpool when he does play against Bournemouth and Everton. I think those two, even though they're away, Those two have been decent defenses this season, but I think it makes sense. The only thing that we need to touch on that would make me want to play the assistant manager chip would be if there was a double game week in 25 for Spurs and Fulham. And again, I don't know how many of you guys are on Twitter, but Ben Crellin did make a tweet, and it suggested that if Spurs were to get in the top 8 of the Europa League and also progress into the final of our domestic cup, which is the Carabao Cup, we could double in game week 25, and it would be in under 24 hours notice, I believe the tweet said. So, of course, why would that sway me to use the assistant manager chip? Well, the reason is you'd be going into game week 24 with Arne Slot with a double game week with Bournemouth and Everton. And if Spurs did double in game week 25, you would have a double game week with Ange Postecoglou, who we're really low on the table, so you get the extra points if Spurs doubled. So yeah, that would look very, very appetizing. So I think it's very unlikely that Spurs progress to the final of the Carabao Cup. Again, we have a 1-0 lead over Liverpool, but we do have to go to Anfield. And if you're asking me as a fan, I don't know how hopeful I am. So keep an eye on that. Of course, we will have double game weeks coming in 33, I believe, or 34. And game week 37. And a blank game week in 29, depending on some of the cup fixtures in the FA Cup, I believe. So definitely keep an eye on that. Okay, so let's get to our chat and answer some of the questions. While I do that, let me bring up a Rob T graphic, just so you have some data, maybe not data, but some information to feed off while I speak over some questions in chat. Let's bring up the top projected goal scorers for this game week. So get your questions in chat and I'll try to get to as many of them as possible. Connor Barrett says, after the game, if you had to sell Ahmed or Rodgers to upgrade, who would you get rid of? I think in this particular week, I'd like to hold on to Ahmed. I think it's a really nice fixture for him. But in general, if you're asking me long term, I would want 100% Rodgers in my team. Has Kai Havertz finally been found out to be a trash player? Says Issa. Yeah, Kai Havertz has been, I don't know about trash, but he's picking up some really good areas. He's just not converting. And usually Arsenal always convert. So I think with Jesus now with a potential ruptured ACL, Kai Havertz will of course go back up top. So if I had Havertz, I'd be more than happy owning him. Again, he's been underwhelming though, and I'm more than happy to get rid of him when I did. By the way, if you could do me a favour, hit that like button for me. 140 in chat. It's great to be back for another stream. Game week 21, 17 game weeks until the end of the season. And this is the crunch time of the season where we'll be using our 5 chips. 5 chips, free hit, wildcards, bench boost, assistant manager. Am I missing something? Triple captain. Yeah, 5 chips. So yeah, this is definitely the meaty part of the season. 17 game weeks and 5 chips to use them. It's going to be interesting, and a lot of double game weeks and blank game weeks to come. Of course, we've got FPL Doctor in chat. He says, good evening, Chai. Took a massive -8 this week because my team looks shite. I am 51/49 on captaincy between Palmer and Salah, currently on cold. FPL Doctor, if I know you as a manager, maybe I don't know you personally, but I know every single week captaincy is close for you, my boy. And this week, I really like Palmer. Again, it's really hard to try convince someone to go against Mohamed Salah. I mean, there really is no argument, especially when you look at numbers, how he's done in recent game weeks, how good Liverpool have been. But I do think, if I think back to how I played last season where I gained a lot in rank, again, sure, it could work the inverse, and it has done a small bit this season. But if everyone's going to be going on Mohamed Salah this game week, there is a door to try take a chance on Cole Palmer. And if you look at the projected goal scorers this week, Cole Palmer is third on the list ahead of Mohamed Salah. I do think it is a good fixture for Chelsea. And I'm kind of with you on that, FPL Doctor. For me, it's more so 65% Cole Palmer, 35% Mohamed Salah. But it is definitely close. Timinoz or Hall says, Spassine, I'll be going to Minoz personally. Lewis Hall is one I got rid of 2 game weeks ago, and if I'm being honest, sure, it was a mistake. Newcastle have looked quite good, but I don't regret the decision. I think you've probably missed the boat on Newcastle, I want to say, from a defensive point of view. Again, I could be completely wrong about that, but it is a nice home fixture with Wolves. I just think the boat has probably passed with Lewis Hall, but he's still a decent asset to own. Martinelli to Gordon or roll the transfer, says Incognito Football. This is a really good question, and I want to touch on this really quick. Of course, I watch quite a bit of FPL content also. I would say a lot of the advice from content creators is, and you would have heard it from other sources, I assume you're not the only one that you listen to, but I would advise rolling as many transfers as you can between now and game week 24. And I think it's for good reason. Of course, we don't know we do know how powerful the assistant manager chip is, but I think when we actually see how valuable it's going to be, you're going to want to be able to potentially move on from an Arnie slot if you do play the assistant manager chip in 24, which of course does take a transfer to do. Of course, we got the list of managers and their prices for the season, but I think the transfers will be very, very valuable come game week 24, especially when you consider the double. We'll know a bit more information about Trent, maybe, if we can rely on him for the double game week. We'll see if Jota is integrated back in the team, if Gakpo is reliable as a striker, and even some of us will be bringing in the likes of a Mikalenko or a Pickford for the double game week, and I know a lot of people will look towards DCL. So I would advise rolling the transfer on Martinelli. I think Martinelli is not a bad own this week versus Spurs. Of course, Spurs are fairly frail and it is a really good fixture for him. So 100% I'll be rolling in that situation. Nick Zero with 9 months with a cup of chai, my longest reigning member of a cup of chai. Thank you again for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you, Nick. And he says, hit that like button, guys. Thank you so much. So let me continue with your questions. Zaina says, hello Chai, what do you think about Gordon captain? I think that's really interesting. Again, Gordon has been a man on some really, really good form, and we know how bad Wolves can be. What I would say on that is, I think Wolves actually have been decent, and the structure they're going to play is probably going to be 5 at the back again. So whether or not that nullifies Gordon, probably not, but I don't know about sticking the captaincy on a Gordon when you've the likes of Palmer and Salah. I know I often say it every single week, but even Isaac, if you think he's going to play, I don't see why you'd stick it on someone who's not on penalties. But yeah, definitely not a bad shout. I've heard worse. Start Gabriel or Guardiola, says Jeevan. I'll be starting Guardiola for sure. Ice G says, I can't call it this time. How do you think the North London derby goes? Again, it is one of the toughest fixtures to call, and it's always a good game. But I think with the current circumstances with Spurs, I think it'll be closer than I think. I do think there is a chance Spurs get a result out of the game, but obviously Arsenal are heavy favourites, and I can't look past Arsenal beating us. I think if we had a fully fit team, we'd definitely give them a much better game. And when we look at that game versus Tamsworth, we play a decent team against a non-league side, and we should be absolutely smashing them, and it goes to extra time. So I can't say I'm confident at all, and you can't blame me, even those who are Spurs fans in chat. Semenyo to Sarah Eze. I would say Semenyo is a decent hold, but if I had to choose, it would be Eze. I know a lot of people have Sar. I think if you're looking to save some funds, which we will be doing, again, like I said, for the double game week in 24 and the assistant manager chip, you'll definitely want to have some funds in the bank, but otherwise I would definitely go Eze. My mind is made up on Isaac captaincy, vice captain Salah, worst case scenario, says Andrew. You know what, I don't mind it. I just wish I knew Isaac was going to play. I'm not trying to put any doubt in anyone's mind, but there is, I would say, a chance he doesn't play. Danny B says, bench 1, Wood, Semenyo, João Pedro. I'll be benching Wood, lads. I don't think, for me, maybe it's just the type of manager I am, and I play it by fixture, but out with Semenyo and João Pedro, I'd definitely be benching Wood. Sure, if something's going to come from Forest, it probably is going to be through Wood, but I think Forest will struggle in this game versus Liverpool. Liverpool have just been that good. Who do I start? Havertz or Solanke? You definitely start Kai Havertz, unfortunately. Tom Stevenson says, yes, Chai, play Hall or Manoz. And 2 out of Ahmed, Rodgers and Wood. I will start Manoz, and out of 2 of Ahmed, Rodgers and Wood, it would be Ahmed and Rodgers easily. CM Punk says, bench 2 of Wood, Pedro, Manoz, Hall. I would bench Wood, and I would also bench Hall. Yeah, I would do that. Nick Zero says, I'm thinking of going for Sar captain this week. What do you think? I think if you go Sar this week, you've got absolute balls of steel and fair play. It's not for me, but I don't mind that, I guess. You know what type of manager I am. I like to play fairly risky, but that is even out of my league. And if you go there, Nick, let me know. Put it in the group chat. I want to see it. Paul says, hello, Dylan. How are we, Paul? Good to see you back in chat, my man. Johnny Football says, which Fulham players should I play this week? I have Castagna and Raul, but don't know if I bench one over the other or both. I suppose it depends, Johnny, on who you're benching them for. It's really hard for me to answer that question without me knowing who you're benching them for. Frannock in chat, he says, had a good game week. Had a good weekend with my local team beating Brentford away, first away win of the season, and now we have Liverpool in the 4th round. Unreal, Frannock. What do you think, or do you think João Pedro starts? I don't know if João Pedro is going to start, I'll be honest. I think if he plays, he probably plays 70 minutes, which I don't love. But he's not going to come off the bench if he's injured. They won't risk him. So I'll happily get Solanke off the bench. I think 70 minutes with Ipswich away is probably better than 90 at Arsenal. That's the way I'm looking at it. Ice Valley says, Isaac is 100% going to play. You're probably right, but you just never know with Eddie Howe. He could have been lying this whole time and he could be out for the season. You just never know, like. So, but yeah, he most likely is going to play. Enzo Tassar. Enzo is a player I'm delighted I didn't fall into a few weeks ago. And he's one that I advised not bringing in, and thankfully I didn't. But yeah, I would be looking I'd be looking to move on Enzo personally. Start Rogers or Wood. Rogers is easily for me. Start João Pedro or Lewis Hall. I'd be starting João Pedro. Asmus says that I have Salah, Palmer and Haaland. Is Haaland the standout option this week? But I also very much like Mateta, even though it sounds crazy. I would be putting the armband on one of those 3 big boys for sure. You know what? I really like Haaland. Haaland armband this week. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to tell you to do it though, because Haaland owners have been unfortunate this season, and it was a shame I brought him in at some point, even though I'm the no Haaland guy. But yeah, Haaland this week definitely looks appetizing. Nick Zero says, I will send it in the group, but first invite me. My phone number is under the post here on YouTube. Nick, I'm so sorry. I'll get you added after the stream. Struggling with benching decisions this week, says Callum. Bench 1. Lewis, Byrne, Colwell, Gabriel in defence, and need to bench one of KDB, Eze, Pedro, Isaac and Jackson. That is tough, Callum. Bench one of Lewis, Byrne, Colwell or Gabriel. I would be benching Colwell, I want to say. And need to bench one of KDB, Eze, Pedro, Isaac, Jackson or Ahmed. I think in that case, I would be benching probably Pedro. I think you have to start KDB if you own him. Ahmed or Sarr for Gordon. -4 hit. I wouldn't be taking a -4 hit for Gordon. Start 2 of Jackson, Wood and Solanke. I'll be starting Jackson Solanke easily in my opinion. I don't really like Wood versus Liverpool at home. I know it probably sounds stupid with the vein of form he's in, but I don't know. There's something about playing against Liverpool and how good they've been this season. I don't like playing Wood personally. But I can understand if you are probably worried about missing out when a lot of people have him and he's done so well in recent weeks. But you have to take the game weeks as they come. And I look at the game weeks individually for each game week. So form is only temporary. Dunk to Hall. I don't mind it, but I think I prefer Dunk to Manoz. Let me bring back up a Rob T graphic. We've just looked at the projected goal scorers. Let's look up at the extended version, which of course Erling Haaland is top of the tree with Brentford away. My captaincy going on Cole Palmer, who was third, and it's interesting to see Bruno Fernandes so high on the list, which we haven't quite saw in a while. Who else do I own on this list? Of course, João Pedro if he plays, Ollie Watkins, and also Anthony Gordon. So not a bad week for my own team. If I look at some of the players who also stand out on this list who aren't maybe being talked about, is of course Mateta, who I do love going forward. I think he is a player who can go in to a rich vein of form. If Crystal Palace do pick up a small bit of form for the games that are coming up, which I could definitely see him doing under Glasner, I'm really excited for the assistant managership, I'll be honest. When I look at some of the fixtures that are coming up, just going back to the FDR, I want to do things differently this season, and it's just how I like to play the game. It's very, very exciting for me to do. And I want to do it in a way where I can still get a top 10k finish. Of course, that is the goal. And we have plenty of time to do it with the chips available. But me going triple captain in double game week 24 will definitely differentiate my season in comparison to other managers. Of course, the majority of managers used it in the first 4 game weeks. With Ipswich for Erling Haaland, and of course got a 17 pointer, which was decent. But I think this double game week for Liverpool with Salah, with the form he's in, could be anything. Sure, they're two tough enough defences, I want to say, but with David Moyes in, you'd much prefer play against a David Moyes defence rather than a Sean Dyche one. And sure, Bournemouth have been the 6th best defence in terms of numbers this season, but I mean, I think, again, because it's Liverpool, it doesn't matter. And what does that mean for my assistant managership? It leaves me play it in a different double game week, which is potentially game week 34. The one thing I would say is, when am I going to play my free hit? That'll be very important. I can either dead end and wildcard in game week 30, which will be quite popular, I imagine. But it really depends what ties we get for game week 29 and how it looks. So I would say my immediate thought is to try dead end into game week 29 and wildcard straight out of it in 30. And eventually bench boost in whenever the double is in 33. And then use the assistant managership for maybe the last 3 fixtures of the season, with a double potentially being in 37. So, going to be a very, very interesting end to the season. It's interesting that we're talking to the end of the season, but it's like that when you're talking about chip strategy. Franek says, hi Chai, bench one of Wood or Diogo Jota, and bench either Davis and Robinson. I'm very stuck between this, and I have 5 bench returns in 2 weeks. Franek, I would say play Chris Wood for the minutes. Again, if I knew Jota was starting, I'd definitely choose him. I do probably expect him to start, but I've expected him to start in a few weeks now, and he hasn't quite done so. So I would much prefer get the surety of minutes from Chris Wood, unless you're feeling a bit bold. Who would I start with Davis with Brighton at home, or Robinson with West Ham away? I'd be inclined to go with Robinson. You know how good Fulham have been this season. Again, that's not to say that Davis can't do it with Brighton, but Brighton are a decent attacking side, and you definitely expect them to score against Ipswich. Is Bruno worth a transfer this week? I think he definitely is worth a transfer. Again, I think it really depends who you're transferring out though. Who am I captaining? My captain is going on Palmer. Shelby says, hello Chai. Hello Shelby, how are we keeping? Darren Grant says, hi Chai. Would you do Foden, Enzo and Sarr to Gordon and Buemo and Ahmed for free? It's really interesting you say that, Darren. A lot of people are actually getting rid of Buemo this week, which is interesting. I think if you have him, you hold him, and if you don't own him, you don't bring him in. Getting rid of Foden, Enzo and Sarr, who have decent fixtures this week, I don't think I'd be doing that. I think you could definitely get rid of Foden and bring in Gordon. I think I'd be more than happy playing Enzo and Sarr this week, even though they've been quite underwhelming recently. Again, Darren, I think the free transfers are very, very valuable. I have Sarr and Minoz. Sorry, lots of questions, guys. I'll try to get back to absolutely all of them. And just repeat your question, but don't spam it if I haven't answered it. I need to replace Jesus as well as Pedro and Isaac Yellow. Mateta or Wood or other. I would go a Mateta Zabunga for sure. I need to bench 3, says Sharaf, of Trent, Minoz, Gabriel, Robinson and Mazraoui, Pedro, Solanke and Semenyo. If you had to bench 3, I would be benching Mazraoui. That's tough. That is really tough. Mazraoui, Robinson and Solanke, I want to say. That is tough though. It's hard to say without looking at your full team. Hey Chai, who'd play between Watkins, Murphy and Harry Wilson? That would be easy for me. I would 10 million % be playing Watkins and Murphy. I don't see why you wouldn't play Watkins personally. Best replacement for Gabriel Jesus, Jean-Philippe Mateta. Sell Foden for Gordon. Yes, I don't mind that. In such case, I triple captain Salah in 33 with Leicester away and Villa away. Sure, but we don't know what that looks like just yet. Guardiola to Minoz and Jota to Bruno or roll Chai. Connor, I would just roll, I think. I would just play out Guardiola and Jota this week. 2 free transfers. Sorry, Spacine. Questions gone. Connor says Guardiola to Minoz and Jota to Bruno. Sorry, I answered that already. Jackson to Mateta or Gakpo. I would go Mateta. Although Jackson isn't a bad hold. Sad says, should I sell Dunk for Manoz or Hall? Manoz. Start one of Colwell, Consa or Robinson, says Jose. I would be starting Consa this week. I just think, I don't know if I believe in the manager bounce, but I just think Everton are fairly flat. They struggle going forward. Again, I could be wrong. This Moyes team could be out firing, but I can't see it. Hi, Chai. Bench Robinson or Iwobi? I'll be benching Robinson. I would always play the attacker in that case. Iwobi has been a bit underwhelming, but I'm still more than happy to play him. Will Jesus drop in price tonight, says Anton. I haven't looked at the predicted price drops, but I believe from what I've heard he is. Raya and Enzo to Pickford and Gordon, or just Enzo to Eze. Ooh, that is tough, Tom. That is real tough. I think if you have Raya and Enzo, you don't mind playing them this week for sure. Decent fixtures. Enzo to Eze is nice if you can do that in one move. I think I'd definitely prefer that. Chess Econ says ultra differential, Captain Savino, point chasing, I know, or Mateta. Chess Econ, if I had to choose, like if I had to choose, it would probably go on Mateta. But I don't like it at all, and if you do pull through on it, at me on Twitter, I want to see. Shelby says, Choi, I'm already in the mud, 3 million rank, worst season for me. I'm selling Jesus for someone, don't know who. Hoyland, Vardy or the Lap. I would go Hoyland in that case. If we look at the Rob T graphic, Hoyland is what? 3rd on the list? 4th on the list? It's a very, very nice opening fixture for him, and United do look a small bit better. Kittle says, I've transferred Ode to Bruno. Tempted to cap, but I think I'll go Palmer. I think going Palmer is the right choice out of the two. But yeah, Bruno owners, you'd be delighted going into the Southampton fixture for sure. Why Captain Palmer? I just fancy the home fixture versus Bournemouth. Let's do a poll. Who's your captaincy on? Let's do, of course, Salah, who I think will be a favourite. Palmer, and let's do other assuming Isaac, but let's just put in other just in case. Danny B says he doubt Hoyland starts. I think Hoyland will start, in my opinion. Jota to Eze or roll. I would do the move to Eze personally. Emil says, hey Chai, start Havertz or Martinelli. I'll be starting Havertz for sure, without a doubt. Foden to Bruno or roll. Already own Ahmed. I would hold on to Foden. X2 says start Jota or start João Pedro or Rodgers. I'll play Rodgers. I just wanted Xerxes, or I'm just worried Xerxes will play instead. Yeah, but Xerxes is kind of ass, to be honest. Like, I don't think he's United striker. I think Hoyland will be United striker. Let me know what you think of that, United fans. Would you do Trent to Hall for a -4? No, I wouldn't. Definitely not. Sergio Pedro Rodgers, of course. Thoughts on Trent Alexander-Arnold long term? I really like him. I don't see, unless we start seeing benchings for Trent, his upside is just way too high for me, and he has a double game week. He's Ipswich in game week 23 and a double game week of Bournemouth and Everton with Wolves at home after that. I see no world in which I don't own Trent unless he gets injured come game week 26, to be honest. I don't mind him at all. Do me a favour, hit that like button for me. It gets us out there, and I really appreciate you supporting us. Amaron usually starts the striker, who was a good cameo the game before. That's an interesting take. Play Jackson or Rodgers? I would play Rodgers. What's your take on Eze captain? What do you think of the Leicester defence? The Leicester defence isn't great, to be honest, but it is a away fixture for Crystal Palace, who have also not been the greatest, I want to say. So I'd much prefer to put the armband on someone more reliable, like a Palmer or a Salah. Yeah, Xerxes did play well versus Arsenal. Sure, you're right. Martinelli to Gordon or roll? I would roll it. This fixture for Martinelli is decent. Would you start Martinelli or Rodgers? I'll start Rodgers. CF says, Choi, should I transfer out Slanky from Mateta? For your information, I already have Henderson, Manoz and Eze in my team. What do you think? No, I would definitely not get rid of Slanky in that case. Thoughts on Robinson? Decent, but I don't know if he keeps up this form for Fulham. Jose says, I'm a United fan. And Xerxes did really well, and Hoyland stinked. Think he will give Xerxes this game? I don't know. It's really hard to say. Again, we're still in that kind of grey area with Amran. We don't know exactly who his favourite players are. But yeah, let's see. Enzo says, sell Trent for Konate for 2 weeks to get Matete and Gordon, or stick with Trent, Odegaard and João Pedro. I would stick with Trent, Odegaard and João Pedro. So Fabianski or Rea already have Gabriel starting. I would just double up on the Arsenal boys personally. That West Ham defence isn't great. MDI says, hello Chai, hope everything is great with you and your family. Thoughts on bench boost 33. Sorry, I can't speak. Consa with Newcastle at home, Liverpool at home, Kula with Forest at home, Kuna with Man United away, and Wood with Tottenham away. Or 24 with Hall, Ahmed, Rea and Gabriel with City at home. Thanks. MDI, I would say hold on to it for 33, and if it's not going to be 33, maybe you'll have a different strat by then and you'll have wildcarded, but I would definitely hold on to it. I wouldn't rush playing it in 24 personally. Jackson to Wood this week says NX, nah, no chance. By the way, I hope everyone is keeping well. Start of the new year, what are some of your New Year's resolutions, and have you kept up with them? My own one that I've given myself, even though I've kind of been doing it anyway, but I didn't really have one, so I wanted to come up with something, and it's to drink more water. So I have a bottle now and I'm consistently filling it. But what are some of your New Year's resolutions? Why can't I speak? New Year's resolutions. We're 14 days in. Have you broke it already? It's interesting because obviously I'm in the gym, but the gym is absolutely packed and I'm seeing so many new faces. It's so weird with someone being around your shoulder all the time. Jose says he's learning Korean. That's absolutely deadly. Korean is a cool language, and I struggle with languages, so I will not be going anywhere near Duolingo. Jose, let me know, what way are you learning Korean? Are you using Duolingo? Dan F says no FPL as a New Year's resolution. Going well so far. Dan, you poor fucker, you're in the same boat as the rest of us. We're all trying to escape the matrix with FPL as well, but we can't seem to do it. Robinson or Gabriel? I would go Gabriel. Spurs are so shit at corners, so it makes sense. My resolution is not owning DCL. That is fair. Will Murphy start? I would say decent chance he starts. Would you start Iwobi or Wood? I'll start Iwobi. Who should I bench? Rea, Fabianski, Timber. That's their whole team. I can't go through that without seeing it. Hocho, I've got Isaac, Jesus and Slanky from 3. Should I -4 one of them? I would say if you haven't got a full 11, -4 for Jesus. Hey, I have Bruno captain. Shall I bench Enzo to play Kirkes? I already have Palmer and Jackson playing. No transfers left. I would just play Enzo as well, to be honest. Put all the eggs in one basket. Start Mazraoui or Enzo? That is tough. I'll probably just play the attacker. Again, I don't love Enzo, but you brought him in for a reason. Hopefully this is the game week where he returns. Bench and Buemo, no chance. I'll be playing him for sure. Thank you for answering my question, says MDMI. Says, is Wood to Gakpo a good idea? Gakpo is an interesting one, and I've told people when he was returning to not bring him in, and it was a mistake, I'll be honest. Gianni Battici is one who absolutely loves Gakpo. I would say I don't expect any Liverpool player other than Salah to get both games in the double. That's the first thing. It would be more so who can get 90 minutes in one of them and the Ipswich at home fixture. And if you think that player is going to be Cody Gakpo, for sure, I think he's definitely a nice option to go for, and very, very differential. Jose says, Duolingo stinks. Only decent for vocab. Using a website made by a Korean person. That is unreal, Jose. Link the website in chat. I'm curious. This poll is really interesting. Who's your captaincy on? And it's currently split 33% on Salah, 37% on Salah, and 30% on other. That's really, really interesting. Of 140 votes. Get voting if you haven't done already. Wissa or Cliver? Wissa. Madison to Gordon? Yes. Thanks. This year we'll be trying to hold on to transfers. Good shout. Do you see Spurs scoring? I do, unfortunately. as I have double Arsenal fans, but I'm a Spurs fan. So there's really no winning for me, but a Spurs win is what I want. I couldn't care less about my double Arsenal fans, to be honest. Let's do a little scroll on Twitter, shall we? Let's see what the community is doing. By the way, I can't imagine we get two or any early team news, but let's see. Fran is locked in. He says, Mbuemo to Bruno. With one free transfer, Palmer captain. Interesting to see he's also going to Palmer captain again. Press is also going Palmer captain. Really, really interesting. I didn't realise so many people were going for the Palmer captaincy. Okay, who else can we find? I love this picture of Ange. You know what I would love? Again, it's obviously, what can't I speak? It's very obvious, but it's for Spurs to pick up a trophy and this man to look like an absolute god. I think he deserves it. And I'm excited, but we won't speak too much about that before I get absolutely stung. Red Devil says, hey, good evening, Shai. Good to see you. Welcome back to another stream. Been 11 days, absolutely mental. It feels like I haven't streamed in ages. Bench dilemma. Bench one of Rodgers, Nicholas Jackson and JP. I think I'll be playing Rodgers and Jackson. Do you think Watkins is going to start? I do think so. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't, to be honest. Let me refresh the timeline once more and then we'll get back to my own team and have a little discussion on some of the fixtures for this game week. Okay, it doesn't look like we have anything interesting on the timeline. Let me bring back up my own team. Of course, the three early games today well, I say early, I mean 7:30 before the Liverpool game. And we get captaincy straight out of the blocks with Haaland playing at 7:30 along with Palmer. And then, of course, the king, Mo Salah, playing at 8 o'clock. I just realised it's all late deadlines for the week to come with midweek fixtures, of course. Going to be an interesting week of football. And, of course, we have the North London Derby on a Wednesday night, which is always great fun. So hopefully it's rowdy and it lives up to the expectations of the North London Derby. I'm one that speaks very, very highly of it, and I know neutrals love that fixture also. So let's see if it lives up to the billing. Carling Cup is huge for Spurs. Yeah, I love when you call it the Carling Cup, because the last time it was the Carling Cup was 2008 when Spurs won it. Well, that was the last time I've called it the Carling Cup. Robinson or Semenyo? I would say Semenyo. Hoi Choi, who to bench? Gakpo or Rodgers? I'll be benching Gakpo, I want to say. That's tough, man. I'll play either. I'd be happy playing either. If I had to choose, I'd probably bench Gakpo, just in case he doesn't start. DC Wood starting, I do, for sure. Come on, you Spurs, says Jovan. What is your ethnicity, Chai? If you're wondering, I'm not Korean, because you said you're learning Korean. My dad is from Malaysia and my mom is from Hong Kong. I am born in Ireland. It's a weird owl mix. And maybe I don't look like your generic Asian. I want to know in chat, do you think I look Chinese? I ask this every single stream, but I'm always curious to see where people think I'm from or how Asian I look. Ange winning the trophy is cold. If not, it's embarrassing. Yeah, I agree. I would die for him to have a trophy. We got Davis West in chat. He says, evening, Shy. Good to see you back live. Absolutely. And it's great to be back also. Hopefully we can see some more green arrows for the weeks to come. And it's going to be an enjoyable few weeks. When is the next deadline for Game Week 22? We got Saturday on the 18th of Jan. And then the next one is also the next week after. Okay, so we got Saturday deadlines for a few weeks now. Good. Let me quickly refresh my team. You definitely look Malaysian. I don't know what that means, Stephen, but I'll take it. I don't know if you know a good few Malaysians, but thanks. Okay. Final decision, Shai. Jesus to Wood, Welbeck, Hoyland, Delap, or Duran. Okay, I don't like Wood for this week. I don't love Welbeck. I think Hoyland, if he plays. Delap is not bad, but I don't love it. And Duran, I don't love either. If I had to choose one, it would be between Hoyland and Wood. And if I had to pick one, it would be Hoyland. Good luck with this game week, Choi. I like the lineup. Thank you, Jovan. Stephen says, beautiful Malaysian. Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate you. Start Pedro or Rodgers. It would be Rodgers. Bench one of Rodgers. And Mbuemo. Jackson. I think I would unfortunately bench Jackson, I want to say. It's tough though. Bring Gordon instead of Luis Diaz? Yes. Johnny says, Defo knew it was some sort of Asian heritage, but I hate to assume what country people are from. Don't like offending anyone. Nah, Johnny. If you know me, we are fairly thick-skinned. I think anyone that has grown up in a country where you are the minority, you have to have thick skin or else you're not going to survive. So say what you want. I love when people make assumptions as long as it's not pure ignorance. Like, I can understand if you think I look like I'm from a different country. I'm clearly not from here, and my voice doesn't replicate that, so I can completely understand, and I don't think it is any ignorance, to be honest. Yeah, no, it's just interesting to see where people think I'm from. Malaysia is a wonderful country, says Jose. Had the luck to go there, and Singapore a few years ago. Absolute blast. Well, that's interesting, Jose, that you say that. I was put off with the idea of going back to Malaysia for a holiday, but I think now that I'm a bit older, I think I look forward to going there. The last time I was in Malaysia, I was 10 years old. I visited Malaysia, Hong Kong, and Singapore, so quite similar to what you've done. From that age, I can't say I enjoyed it because I was a small bit too young. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if I go back and if I enjoy it this time around. Hi, Chum. I'm from a fellow Asian. Whom do I sell from Gordon, Sarr, Iwobi, and Martinelli? Personally, I would be selling Iwobi. I think he's been definitely underwhelming. It's just, who do you go to? Choi, you look between Japanese and South Korean. Yeah, I think that is fairly common. I think the most common one is probably Chinese, because, I mean, that's a very ignorant answer. A lot of people can't differentiate between Chinese, Japanese, Korean, which I guess is understandable. We're all Asian. We all have dark jet black hair and maybe tan skin. I think that's the only feature we share. Like, I can differentiate between most Japanese, Koreans, Filipinos, Thai, Chinese. So but maybe it's just because I'm from this ethnic group. Wise words from a wise lad. Appreciate the help so far, Chai. No worries at all. Okay, let's move on from the Asian talk. Let's speak about, who shall we speak about? Let's speak about the North London derby. Again, we love this fixture from a neutral's point of view. It's the same thing from Arabs, says Shelby. Yeah, that's a really good point. Maybe that's where my ignorance comes from, because I would know way less about some of the Arabic countries. Hello, Dylan Mason. How are we? Slanky or Wood for upcoming weeks? Slanky. Lads, I'm going to die on the Slanky hill. For sure. I really like the fixture set. Again, how is this fixture versus Arsenal going to go? Let's do a little poll in chat. How is the North... Actually, okay, no. What we'll do is a poll. Interesting to see how split the poll on captaincy is. Almost 30-30-30. But let's do a poll on NLD. North London derby. Let's do Arsenal. Draw. Spurs. Shelby says, I'm an Arsenal fan and we're in the mud mentally, so yeah, you might be in the mud mentally, but I still think you're a good side. Where on the other hand, Spurs are struggling and have no players, so it's going to be interesting to see where this poll is. Any news on Isaac? No, not in concrete other than what Howe said. Do vote on that poll, by the way, and if you have any score predictions, put it in chat. Do me a favor also and hit that like button. By the way, I feel like the stream has gone on for ages. We have 40 minutes left, and I feel like I've been talking forever. Maybe I need to slow down a small bit. We've covered a lot in the first hour of the stream. Arsenal can't kick a paper bag. That's music to my ears, to be honest. Semenyo to Eze / Sarr or Gordon. Already missed the price changes. Still have money or roll and play Rodgers. I would roll and play Rodgers personally. Demir. Sell Trent? No chance. This is your chance to completely destroy our title challenge, like you did versus City. Sarcasm. Yeah, I would love that. And I think I deserve it. What do you think about Danny Ings? Probably not one that's going to be talked about at all, and I think rightly so. Again, I could be wrong. Should I bring in Gordon for Diaz? I brought in Diaz for the double game week, but I don't think he'll add much value. If you think he plays against Forest, I'd hold on to him. Hello, Stat Robinson or Rico Lewis? Rico Lewis. 90-1 for Tottenham to beat Arsenal 3-0. Interesting. Timber to Mazraoui or roll? I would definitely roll. I wouldn't be bringing in Mazraoui, I don't think. Why is 36% of the poll on Spurs for a win? I don't know where that confidence is coming from. What's your take on Timber versus Castagna? I think I'll play Castagna, to be honest. Whom do I sell Watkins for? I spend money to afford Iwobi to Gordon. Mateta? Bench Ismail Assar or Rodgers? That's a flip of a coin, to be honest. It could go either way. If I had to choose, I would be benching Rodgers, though. Bench one of Wood, Rodgers, Martinelli. I would bench Wood. Bench Rodgers, Mbeumo or Jackson? I would bench Mbeumo. Would I bench Mbeumo? I would bench Mbeumo. Saying that, I feel like Frank has often done a job on City. I could be wrong with that, though. Timber plus Saliba or Saliba plus Colwill? Probably Timber plus Saliba. Isaac Salah or Palmer captain? Well, I'm currently on Palmer, so I can't tell you otherwise. My differential shout for this game week is Lenny Yoro is getting a 15-pointer. That is an interesting shout, Jose. And best of luck if you're bringing him in. Arsenal got injuries as well. They do, but not to the extent Spurs do. Spurs have one fit centre-back. Choi, when did you swap Saliba for Gabriel? I have Saliba too, but can't find the right time to do it. Feel like a luxury move, no. Berra, if I owned Saliba, I would just hold on to him. I wouldn't bother bringing in Gabriel, to be honest. It is a very luxury move, and with some of the fixtures that are coming up, I'd much prefer the transfer. Start Kuna or Wissa? Kuna? Even though Wissa is on some form, but Kuna. Trent and Murphy or Hall and Gordon? That's tough. For this game week, I want to say Hall and Gordon. Best differential captain? Cole Palmer. I mean, if it's even differential, I think it is. I would definitely say CP. Bench one, João Pedro or Wood? I'm benching Wood. Do you think Henderson plays? I don't see why not. Captain Bruno. Also, Enzo Fernandez to Gordon or Eze? I'll be bringing in Gordon first over Eze for sure. Would I captain Bruno? I don't mind it at all. I really like Bruno as an asset. I think anyone that knows me as a manager, I have done for a while now. So definitely don't mind it, especially if you expect him to play in the 10. Let's do another little scroll on Twitter. By the way, do get your questions in chat. I'll try to answer as many as possible. And sorry if I've missed any on the way. It's hard to get back to absolutely all of them. Let me refresh the timeline real quick. Poole losing to Forest? I can't see that happening, Gita. Can't see that happening at all. Let's look at Spiros' AI team. He's got Salah captain, which is interesting. 4 free transfers. Well, I think, yeah, again, like I said, it's really... When you look at the models, they'll all try suggest rolling your transfers when you can. Spiros' model has rolled 4 free transfers. And it's probably setting up for some big changes down the line with the double game week. As you can see, he's currently only got a single double game weeker in 24 of Salah. I imagine it will bring in the likes of a Pickford eventually at some point. Thoughts on Morgan Gibbs White for next week? From next week? Yeah, I quite like it. It's not bad at all. Even though Morgan Gibbs White is just a player who will tick away nicely, I don't think he'll ever be that explosive asset who's coming up with massive hauls. Again, could be wrong, but that's just my opinion as of now, and I need to be shown otherwise. Old School 2022 says, what about Welbeck? I don't know about Welbeck. I mean, he's just come back from injury. I imagine he'd be a bit slower coming back into form. What to do with Jesus? Don't want Mateta or Raul. I'm a Leicester fan. Sometimes, no, you have to just swallow the pill of your own team bias. I struggle to bench Solanke with Arsenal. I know that feeling. I would love to play Solanke, but you got to do what's right in the FPL world, unfortunately. Who else could bench him and play Sarr? You could just bench him and play Sarr. I don't mind that at all. It's probably just as good as Mateta. Ahmed captain, don't love it. For long term, Trent and Murphy, Hole or Gordon. I think long term it is probably Hole and Gordon. Is Sarr worth holding? Yes, for sure. Start Guardiola or Robinson? Guardiola. Arsenal had red on the side versus Man United in the FA Cup. Looks like Kolo Muani's going to Juventus. Is this true, Spacine? I would love a Kolo Muani at Spurs, to be honest. We could deal with him. It's going to be interesting to see who Spurs sign, if we sign anyone, to be honest. Evening says Keith McLaughlin. He says Kuna to Mateta or roll. I would just be rolling Keith, I think. Leo says, hi Choi, great stream. Should I bench Semenyo or Iwobi? I'll be benching Iwobi. Dylan Mason says, I'm shocked you're benching Slanky. I mean, I don't want it, but I think if Pedro doesn't play, I get him off the bench. Chess Econ says, how should I let you know if I captain Savinho or Mateta? I don't have X. Well, Chess Econ, there's no way you can inform me, I don't think. But you can come back into next week's stream and let me know for sure. And I won't forget if you captain Savinho. Semenyo to Eze or roll? I think you just roll with Semenyo. Again, Bournemouth. Actually, do you? Eze sets you up really nicely for the coming weeks. I think you do make the move. Again, I'm delighted to have Eze, to be honest. Leno or Sells to start? I think you gotta start Leno. Chica says, hi Chai, what's the best alternative for Gabriel under 5.3? I would say Daniel Munoz, for sure. Tosun Haaland captain? I think if I had Haaland, I would be captaining him. Again, hopefully you don't get burnt again though. Apologies if you do go there. Hi Chai, what's the best alternative? Jose says, aren't you afraid Joe Pedro gets 20 minutes cameo? By the press conference, it looks likely, IMO. I don't think so, Jose. I think if he does have an injury, he won't make a cameo. And again, I don't know. Maybe I should be a bit more skeptical. Let me do another scroll on Twitter. I want to see what people are doing with what's his name? João Pedro. I imagine majority are starting him. Okay. Fran is not, or not Fran, Prass is not starting him. Maybe I just play Solanke. You're making me think now. And to be honest, I don't mind benching João Pedro. He's done well in the last 2 weeks, got his holes, and give Solanke a go, who I think Spurs can score. I think I could be convinced. But then again, Fran, what is Fran doing? Fran is also benching João Pedro. Interesting. He would prefer to play a 4 at the back than play João Pedro. Start Timber Robinson, says Arianto. I would start Robinson. Where are we? Okay, let me get back to my team. How's that poll doing? 47% on Arsenal to beat Spurs. No surprise there, I don't think. Keep up the good work, says Eddie Casey. Thank you, Eddie. Again, do me a favour. We've half an hour left in the stream. We've got 140 people in here. Do me a favour and hit that like button. I appreciate you all. I don't know how many likes we're on, but let's see if we can get somewhere near 150 likes. That would be great. Champions Collide says, which three to start from Trent, Gabriel, Hall or Munoz? I'll be starting Trent, Gabriel and Munoz. Live Sneaker says, you bench Solanke as a Spurs fan. I'm thinking about it now, to be honest. It has me thinking that maybe I should just play Solanke, because it was on my mind. I was just a bit higher on Pedro, either playing or not playing, so I could get Solanke off the bench. But maybe I'm wrong about that, and that he could get a 20-minute cameo. Liam Walsh says, what's up, Chai? Start Ina, Kirkes or Lewis? I think you got to be starting Lewis, for sure. Start Wood or Semenyo. FPL Oliver says Gordon and Bruno, Mbuemo and Bruno, or Gordon and Mbuemo. A lot of O in that. Gordon and Bruno, for sure. Yes, Gordon and Bruno. Wood, Cucurella and Mbuemo. Select one. Mbuemo. Hoichoi says Duarte. He says Wood, Robinson, Iwobi or Colwell. Just one to start. Which? Just one to start. Robinson. Murphy and Diaz to Gordon and Ahmed for a -4. Yes. Not feeling determined enough to captain Savinho. Can you motivate me, please? No, I'm not going to try motivate you to captain Savinho, Chessy Con. Consa or Timber? Consa. Is Bruno captaincy over Palmer, Salah and Isaac stupid? I don't know why I think Bruno will do the most. Keane, if you think Bruno's going to do the most, it's easy. Just captain him. I wouldn't think twice about it. Robert Zahari, good to see you, my man. Hi Chai and the gang, great with the stream again. FPL Tony says he has some exclusive leaks on his Patreon. I'm hoping for Jota. Robert, if you are subscribed to his Patreon, be sure to let us know in here. That would be much appreciated. It's tough because you have double Arsenal defence. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Chai. No worries at all. No worries, gang. Start Kirkes, Wood, or Wobie, says Yusuf. 2 free transfers and enough in the bank to Bruno. I would do a Wobie up to Bruno, I think. With offensive lineup of confusing Trent, Munoz and Cucurella, would you change anyone? I don't think so. I don't mind that back three. Liam Preston says bench 1 of Hall, Munoz, Raul, Pedro. Leaning towards benching Raul and have him come on for Pedro. Yeah, I would bench Raul. Start Rodgers or Martinelli? Rodgers. Robinson over Wood. Choked you didn't said the forward. Let's go Robinson. Yeah, I'm just not too high on Wood this week. That's what that comes down to. Captain Sar, I don't love it. Shia. When you plan on getting Isaac, I haven't. I don't plan on it. I'm gonna bite the bullet and hope. Well, okay, I'm not. I'd never hope for an injury. But see, and maybe he's injured this game week. That would be ideal from an FPL point of view. Right, top 3 captains this week, Chai. All players, not just your team. I think the best 3 captains this week is Palmer, Haaland, Salah in that order. Odegaard to Bruno or any other suggestions? No, I would do that. Yusuf says, thanks, Chai. You the GOAT. No worries at all, my man. Captain Palmer or Haaland? If I had Haaland, I'd be captaining him. Christian says, what's up, Chai? Any updates on Isaac? I would like to captain him, but I'm nervous about his minutes. I can't say I can give you a solid update. I don't trust Eddie Howe, so I wouldn't even give you his quotes, to be honest. I would be surprised if he didn't play, but I would definitely be put off captaining him as well. I wouldn't captain him personally. Sarah to Gordon. Yeah, but again, there's nothing wrong with holding Sarah this week. Hold on to Jackson. Yeah, nothing wrong with holding on to Jackson either. Bournemouth is a decent fixture for Chelsea. Whom to buy, Bruno or Gordon? If I could buy one this week, it would be Bruno. It would definitely be Bruno. Where are we? Nothing interesting on that Twitter. How many likes is the stream on? 112. Let's see if we can get 150 by the end of the stream. Thank you, all of you, for joining me, by the way. It's great to be back, lads. I love it. Thanks, Shai says, Christian, I appreciate it. Aston Villa have announced a Daniel Malen. Yeah, great signing. Subchoice says, TC, check my setup. Just tweeted you. Accidentally brought in Martinelli. Fuck my life. Start him or start Sar. Okay, let's have a look because TC, you're always in here, my man. Fucking hell, that is some dedication right there. that is insane. Like, I don't know how you're listening to all of us at the same time. But yeah, fair play. I don't know what money you're playing for or what friends you need to try beat, but fair play. I love that. That's brilliant. Okay, let me bring back up my team. Interesting, by the way, that you have me in there with some really, really good FPL managers like Raptor and Harry and... who was the other one? Raptor, Harry and Andy, of course. I don't know how I'm in the middle of all of them, but yeah, thank you. Gordon captain. No, I don't love it. Roger says Soboslai starts. If you could at me in that, that'd be great. I want to see where you're getting that. What's your plan with Chips Shy? Says Alex. Alex, I'm gonna triple captain in 24 unless we get news in 25 that there's a double with Spurs. Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good point. How the fuck do you have 3 laptops? That's another good point. But yeah, also probably try hold on to the free hit and dead end 29, where we definitely have a blank. Wildcard 30. And then use my assistant manager in the weeks of 31 to 38. And of course the bench boost. Again, it still is a bit early. Would you sell Foden to Bruno? Yes. And should I keep Watkins? Yes. Bench one of Pedro, Wood, or Semenyo? I'll be benching Wood. Lunatic says, hello, Chai. What do you think is a better buy, Konate or Hall? Konate. Wood or Morgan Gibbs White? I mean, probably Wood. Shrio says, hey, Chai, start Kuna or Pedro? I think I'd be starting Kuna at this point. Solanke captain. Best Jesus replacement, Mateta. Bench one of Ahmed, Wood, João Pedro, Solanke. I would be benching Wood. Gibbs White or Murphy to start? I would start Murphy, I think. I changed my mind. N. Jackson captain this week. Nick, you are a madman. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed Juve are close to Kolo Muani. Interesting. I didn't think they had the money, even though it probably is an obligation to buy. Start Quansah or Robinson? Start Lewis or Castagna? Lewis. Should I get Eze for Enzo? Yes. Rogers or Enzo? Rogers. Cheers, choices, Matthew. No worries at all, my man. Start Lewis or Hall? I will start Lewis, for sure. For sure. Okay. Let's do a poll. I think I've made my mind up. I've just been thinking about it while waffling. I've made my mind up. I want to see what you think. Alright, chat, let me know. Who do I start? João Pedro or Dominic Solanke? My risk appetite is high. Let's just say that. Thomas Baker says Timber and Enzo. Shit, fuck. Timber and Enzo to Hall and Minoz and Bruno for a -4. Timber and Enzo to Hall and Minoz and Bruno for a -4. Thomas, I don't mind those moves, but again, I think I'd be more than happy rolling at the same time. -4 is asking a lot from Bruno. Luis Diaz to Bruno or Gordon? I would be going Bruno. I don't really trust anyone for the Liverpool double other than Salah. Kittle says, can't believe you're starting JP over Big Dom. Kittle, well, we've just done a poll. I'm interested to see what you guys think. Yusuf says, hold up, Chai. I realise the Wobie up to Bruno doesn't solve my João Pedro problem. So start João Pedro or Kirkes / Colwell. And do you think Wobie up to Bruno is still worth it? Wobie up to Bruno is definitely worth it. That's the first thing. Kirkes / Colwell, who to start? Or João Pedro? I mean, I would always be inclined to try to start the attacker. I wouldn't be too hopeful of a clean sheet for Kirkes or Colwell either. So I think I would play João Pedro in that instance and hope that he plays. My league's totally almost 11k. 11k. I have 4 red arrows last week. It's time to get serious. Need to get back into the top 100. Have 4 laptops, but table isn't big enough and only want to listen to you. 4, you're my favourite. Well, thank you, TC. Very kind words. But yeah, fair play. That's some serious dedication. It's great to see. Back your Tottenham boys, says Derek O'Reilly. Come on, you Spurs. He never ever misses a come on, you Spurs in our chat. House says Watkins bench rumours. I don't know about that. I haven't seen anything. Ari Rowling says John Ross. I am indeed. What to do with Kuna, Bruno or Gordon? Bruno. And what to do with Kuna? Play him. Start João Pedro or Wood? Again, I don't know how to feel about João Pedro, to be honest. I think at this point, by the way things are going in chat, everyone is trying to convince me to play Wood, but I'm not a Wood lover this week. I'm not a Wood lover. Wood? What? Oops. Isaac or Palmer? Palmer. Start Pedro or Enzo? I guess Enzo. I don't know. I really don't know how to, because Enzo was not a great asset. I never thought he was a great asset. He went through his little purple patch. It's not to say he can't return versus Bournemouth, but I don't love him as an asset. How do I activate my assistant manager chip? There is no option, says Leo. You can only activate that from game week 24 onwards, Leo. So looking at the poll, it's great to see. It's very helpful. 50% João Pedro, 50% Dominic Solanke. You're not helping my cause, lads. You're not helping my cause at all. Captain Bruman. Oh, I love streaming. I'm so good at it. Can't speak for the life of me. Captain Bruno or Palmer? Palmer. Foden, Jota to Bruno, Gordon. What's mad is Foda. Like, what is wrong with me? I can't do this. I'm so rusty. I would hold on. I would try hold on to Foden, I think. Like, Foden could do very, very well this week. That's my issue with getting rid of him. Start Pedro Rogers. Tyler says, Yo, Chai, what are we thinking on Pedro this week? Seems that if he trained today with the squad as well, that's positive, but a lot of experts are going Wood instead of him. What do I make of it? So initially I would have said that because he's only training today, I can't see him getting 20 minutes if he's only training today. He either plays or he doesn't play, and if he plays he gets 60 to 70. That's the way I look at it, and I could be wrong. But yeah, I think a lot of people are looking at that Liverpool fixture with how good Forest have been. Of course, Chris Wood guaranteed minutes and penalties, so I can understand the incentive of going him. Ahmed to Sarr, no, I wouldn't do that. Varnet says Jesus, Murphy, Rogers, Sarul, Ahmed, or Gordon. I would say overall, those moves are good, but I would love to hold on to Rogers if you can. Whom do I sell for Bruno? Sarah or Wobie? I would be selling Wobie. Any news on Murphy? Not that I know of. Milko. Isaac start? Again, that's another grey area. I can't give you a concrete answer. What do we think about Luis Diaz? I don't mind them, but Cody Gakpo is definitely up his arse. That's the best way to put it. Surely start Solanke if it's the North London derby. Surely a lot of goals. If it wasn't at the Emirates, I would say so, but you just never know what you're going to get with Spurs. Hi, Chai, can you help me with my dilemma? Bench one of Wood, Gabriel, Robinson, Hall. Wood, Gabriel, Robinson, Hall. Who to bench out of if I had to choose one? I'll probably bench Hall. Do I buy Gordon to Mbeumo or Rogers? I would say Mbeumo, but Mbeumo is not a bad hold at the same time. Sell Kirkes or not? It depends for who. Moon says, hello, Chai. Sorry I'm late. No worries at all. Thank you for joining me. By the way, how many likes are we on? I'm trying to hit 150 by the end of the stream. We are currently on 125. 25 more and we're a happy man. Let's do a little scroll on Twitter, shall we? 53% on Solanke now. Would you captain Ahmed or Mateta? No, I wouldn't. James doing something interesting again with Eze captain. Love to see that. Any news on Kolo Muani? No meaningful update currently. Everything is out there. Spurs made a proposal and the player to decide. So the player is going to decide between Juve, I assume. I think Fab has said it's Juve. They appear to be leaking in Italian media that they are confident. I don't know where he ends up currently. Interesting. I would love Randall Kolo Muani. Just to freshen up a bit of something like. Are you planning on making any transfers FPL Chai? I don't think so. I'm more than happy to roll this week. Okay, let's go to my transfers. So like I said, I'm going to roll this game week. And I'm going to put the armband on Cole Palmer. And of course, in this instance, I'm going to play Dominic Solanke, I think. I've been persuaded. So let me bring up my own team. João Pedro to the bench and put my faith in Tottenham Hotspur. What a terrible sentence. And hope that Dominic Solanke can come up with some sort of goods at the Emirates. Oh. It's interesting to see the poll is so indecisive too. 51% on Solanke. Instinctive said he doubts JP starts, so I'm going Solanke to start. That's fair enough, Kittle. What was I doing? Okay, so like I said, if I roll this game week, the armband goes on Cole Palmer. We bring in Solanke for João Pedro, who we expect to be fit next week against Man United. Of course, Watkins, Arsenal away, so I would play Watkins in this situation. I think the team is decent for next week. Again, 2 away fixtures in a row for my team, if you look at how it's set up, which is not ideal. But definitely not bad. Um, what transfers could I potentially make in game week 22? Nothing really stands out if I get confirmation that João Pedro is fit. I wouldn't get rid of Ollie Watkins. I think Arsenal do have a decent chance of a clean sheet versus Villa at home. And again, depending on what happens in this game week, I could be swayed to go with Cole Palmer again if he's on some decent form. So let's see. I think captaincy will be interesting again next week. Let me look at some of the other fixtures. Who does City have? City have Ipswich away, is it? So, yeah, definitely an interesting week. FPL Doctor says bench Wood or Rodgers. I'll be benching Wood. I'll be playing Rodgers over him. TC with a £5 super chat. Thank you so much. Take a coffee on me. Start Watkins or start Sar. Rumor is Watkins is benched. TC, I don't know where this rumor is coming from. I would still start Watkins personally. Again, unless you really believe in that source, I would be starting Watkins. Who would you bench between Trent, Hall, Minoz, and Timber? Trent, Hall, Minoz, and Timber. I would bench Timber. Diaz to Bruno for a -4. It really depends on what you see Diaz's minutes tonight being. If you think he's going to be benched, then easy, get rid of him. Or if you were sick of worrying about him every single week, get rid of him for sure. Guardiola and Martinelli to a 5 million defender, Hall, and Mbuemo. No, I would much prefer to hold on to Guardiola and Martinelli personally. Is it worth having Tyler Dibbling as my 8 attacker if it means I can't afford Trent Alexander-Arnold? I think so. I don't mind having Tyler Dibbling as your 8 attacker at all. I think he's actually quite decent at football. He's having a really good season. And some big clubbers going to snatch him up for sure. I know he signed a new contract, but he is that good, I think. In terms of an FPL asset, I think you hopefully just play him in some of those easier fixtures when they do come around for Southampton. Shall I bench one of João Pedro, Solanke, and Wood? I'll be benching Wood. Actually, no, I won't. I'll be benching João Pedro. I'm benching João Pedro. Keegs says, choice sir, thoughts on Bruno captain. Not a fan of Salah, Palmer and Isaac flagged. I've changed it to Bruno. Well, Keegs, what I say to that is like, I don't know why you don't fancy the rest of them, but you fancy Bruno. Salah has done it for 11 weeks in a row now, I think. And Palmer has been fairly consistent the last 3 weeks. But yeah, I can understand that. I think it is a really good fixture for United, but United still are a bit flaky. JC Music UK says, Chai Broski, start Mateta or Murphy, who has a flag. Just brought in Donkey Mateta for Havertz. I would have personally kept Donkey Mateta personally if I had, or I would have kept Donkey Havertz if I had known about the Jesus injury in time. But I don't mind Mateta. I would definitely be starting Mateta over Murphy. Diaz to Bruno for a -4, is it worth it? Yes, probably. Maybe in the long run. Enzo to Ahmed or Roll. Enzo to Ahmed, it feels still a bit sideways. It's not a bad fixture for Enzo. It's a really nice fixture for Ahmed, don't get me wrong, but again, it's United and they've looked fairly flaky. A good result again midweek, but still. Start Murphy or Wood? I'll probably start Murphy. Is it smart to start Jackson and Isaac this week? Yeah, I don't see why not. FPL Wonder says, hey mate, what are your thoughts on Minoz and Eze? You doubling up on Crystal Palace? Yeah, I love the double up personally. By the way, let me bring back up my team for this game week. And let me make sure I've confirmed that Dominic Solanke is starting ahead of João Pedro for me. Okay, so that is indeed done. Can we see team, says Connor. There you go. The White Goldfish says, play Gabriel, Guardiola or Milenkovic. I would play Gabriel and Guardiola for sure. Should I get rid of Semenyo for Ahmed, says Sam. I don't mind holding on to Semenyo, but I think if you're sick of him, I mean, why not? Again, Semenyo will be potentially playing up top with the two boys being out. Hey, should I bench one of Sarr, Murphy or Jimenez? In this case, I would probably bench Murphy. Hey bro, please answer. Should I get Bruno or Gordon, please? The GOAT, I'd be happy with either. If I could choose, I would go Bruno. Best Jesus replacement. Mateta. Pick 2 of Gordon, Fernandes and Mbuemo. Gordon and Fernandes. Hey mate, Ode and Strand Larson to Ahmed and Isaac. Yes. Here's the thing actually on Gordon and Fernandes and Mbuemo actually. You know, Gordon and Fernandez and Mbeumo are three proven assets which you'd love to hold on for the remainder of the season. But you're trying to catch the form one, I suppose, which Gordon and Fernandez definitely have. Same with Mbeumo. But also, penalties for Fernandez is what really sways it for me of why he's the better asset between Gordon and Mbeumo. And he's the best entry fixture this game week. Hey mate, Ode and Strand Larson to Ahmed and Isaac. Yeah, I answered that already. Mbeumo and Konate to Trent and Rogers. I would be a bit more skeptical on that move, Entis. I don't know if that move is justified, personally. Hey bro, how do you feel about Jimenez? I don't like Jimenez, to be honest. For Isaac and Enzo to Gordon. Jimenez for Isaac and Enzo to Gordon. I don't love that, Harry Miller, personally. Surely Jackson delivers for us owners today. Well, I hope not, because I don't own him, and every fucking week, except the last few, he has. He went on that ridiculous run, so hopefully not. Salah or Palmer for captain? Palmer for me. Bench Pedro or Jimenez? I would try just play Pedro in that instance. Mateta or Wood? Mateta. Jackson to Gakpo, Mateta or Hold? Hold. Hoichai, Iwobi to Ahmed or Oina to Castagna? And Iwobi to Gordon. Iwobi to Ahmed. Okay, let's do a little scroll on Twitter. Let's see if we've hit our goal. Have we hit our goal? We are currently 12 off. If do me a favor, hit that like button. Hopefully we get to 150 by the end of the stream. Let's have a look. Any leaks? Any leaks? I don't think we're going to get any leaks. It's interesting to see what happens with this Colin Moani deal. Colin Moani will make a decision with more proposals on the table from Premier League clubs. If you're him, you should come to Spurs. What do we have at Spurs? I mean, we have a nice training ground and a good manager. I can't say the team is great, but that's why we're signing you. Yeah, not many incentives to join Spurs over Juve, and this is my thoughts exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself, Zeus. Choose Spurs. Anyway, let's get back to FPL. What is Abdul Rahman doing? 900k in the world, saving into 3 free transfers. Chris Nazario Wood gets promoted to the starting XI in place of João Pedro. Interesting. I don't mind that at all. Don't mind that at all. Let's see if we can get any early team lose from this Liverpool account. Only Dominic Soboslai is starting. I should probably turn on notifications for that account. He's very, very reliable. Bruno captain, what are your thoughts? Again, I don't mind it, but I don't love it. I don't love it at all. Where are we? Okay, we're not getting anything. I'm going to stop scrolling. It's fairly useless. Here's the team for this game week. We have 7 minutes until the deadline. Get your teams and questions locked in. I'll answer as many as I can before the deadline. Start for Bergen or Rhea? That's the first time I've seen this question. I'll probably just still play Rhea. Mbeumo or Gordon? Gordon for sure. It's a really nice fixture for Gordon this week. Duran or Wissa as a differential? Wissa. Gianni is going Bruno captain. I fucking broke Gianni, did I? Let me go into his chat right now, actually. Let me quickly go in and comment. Gianni captain and Bruno. Have I fucking broke you?
I think this Man United.
I just play some of his audio. I want to see what he says.
Premier League, absolutely.
I just have his audio in the background. I want to hear what he says.
The worst team in Premier League history. We could see it. We could see him on a par with Derby. Chai's broken me. Yes, Chai, mate. Oh, you only got to watch him with 6 minutes to go, or I'd say come on board and say hello. But mate, you have broken me. Chai, what are you doing with your team? More importantly, Chai's having a good season, unlike me. I am captaining Bruno, so yes, you've clearly broke me. Are you?
So I have broken Gianni Battici. I've confirmed it. For anyone that doesn't know, Gianni and I do a stream every single Sunday. And he's always hating on someone like me who loves Bruno Fernandes. And now the turns have tabled and he's got Bruno Fernandes and he's captaining him. And I'm here left with Eze, who another player you don't really like. But yeah, no, it's funny because I knew he'd love that. Trent Alexander-Arnold for Timber. Yes. Best last minute defender to get this week. Thinking Mazraoui. I mean, I don't mind Mazraoui, but I would just go to Manoz if you don't already have him. Buy Manoz for Colwell or roll? I think I would buy in Manoz. I think he sets you up really well for the future. Why is virtually every content creator captain Palmer? That's really interesting, Connor, because I had made my mind up before the game week started. It was always on Palmer. I think if you go back to last Sunday's stream with Gianni, it was on Cole Palmer and the week hadn't even finished yet. For me, I think it makes sense. A home fixture with Bournemouth versus Nottingham Forest away, who've been the third best defence, I think, on paper this season. Salah can't. He can. Do you know that meme of O'Neill? He's like, oh, he can. Anyway, he can't keep up this run realistically. If he continues this run, it'll go down as the greatest run of all time, you know what I mean? So, surely he can't keep it up. It's 11 heaven for Mohamed Salah. Anish says, hey Chai, hope you're well. Start Wood or Pedro? I would just start Wood. Start Timber or Castagna, or just get Manoz for Timber. Start Timber or Castagna? I would start Castagna. But also, I like Manoz for Timber. Either of those two moves are good. Is Isaac an option even though he's flagged? Lads, the flags would never put me off. I always make my own decision on whether or not I'm going to play someone. This flag could be red for all I care, and if I think he's going to play due to whatever information I have in the community or in general based on my own opinion, like, the flag means nothing. Raul or Wood? Yeah, 150 likes. Thank you, Anish, and thank you for everyone that's hit the button for me. I really appreciate you. 3 minutes until the deadline. It's been a very enjoyable stream. I have to say, I've missed it. It's been a hot minute. Ice Valley says Gordon captain over Palmer. Bournemouth are so sound against the top teams. I mean, it's a fair point, but Cole Palmer is that good. You wouldn't be surprised to see him do it again this game week. Enzo or Robinson says Uday. I want to say Enzo, the attacker. Hall or Robinson? I would go Hall for the home fixture, Newcastle Wolves. Glad you're alive, Chai. I am indeed alive. Alive and live. Raul or Kudus? I would play Kudus this week, you know that? It's not one that is going to be spoken about, but it's actually really interesting. I think I fancy him this week. Ahmed captain a mad one? It is a bit mad for sure. Semenyo or Ahmed captain a mad one? Stop it. Semenyo or Solanke or Pedro? Choose two. Semenyo and Solanke, because I am starting Dominic Solanke at the Emirates like a silly boy with my double Arsenal defence. It don't look pretty, but that's what we're going with. Let me quickly take a screenshot of my own team before I forget. So yeah, we have 1 minute and 40 seconds until the deadline. Any last questions, I'll try answer them. If not, best of luck this game week. Let's do a little scroll on Twitter before we move on. See if we can catch anything. Maybe another Liverpool leak or something like that. Drogba or Adebayor? Adebayor. Drogba or Adebayor? I mean, it's obviously Drogba, but Adebayor has a special place in my heart. That celebration versus Arsenal, all-timer. JP or Sar? Good luck, mate. Love the stream. Go Gunners. I can't say go Gunners, but thank you for joining me for another stream. How many minutes do you think JP gets? I think he gets 60 or 0. Star Fabianski or Rea? Star 2 of Raul, Pedro, Rogers. Raul and Rogers. Semenyo or Pedro to start? Semenyo or Pedro to start? Semenyo. Why did I think about that for so long? Something wasn't ticking in my brain. It just went on pause. Come on, you gunner, says downtown. Get the fuck out of here at downtown. We don't need that in our chat. But no, I'm joking. Best of luck this game week, I guess. Solanke versus Gabriel, your attacker versus your defense. Thoughts? It is what it is, FPL Wonder. I have Gabriel for the attacking threat anyway, don't we? We all do. Ray, on the other hand, absolute crock of whatever you want to call that. So yeah, another amazing stream, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. I apologize there isn't any midweek content. I do miss it also. Do shoot me a DM on X or follow me on Twitter if you want some more. Haven't been posting too much, but it was nice to get a nice 11-day break. Do me a favor, hit that like button before you go. And thank you for joining me for another stream. And as usual, I will see you in the next.